Chapter 29. His body flinches and turns. He mumbles in his sleep. His body and eyes shoot up. He leans up from the cozy bed, heavily breathing as he checks his surroundings. "Where am I?" Isamu muttered, unfamiliar with the room he resides in. He turns his head slowly. The walls are decorated with inexperienced drawings and various toys scattered along the floor. He finds himself in one of the many beds next to a wall with a window with morning light pooling in. It's pleasant compared to what he can remember last. The outlandish result of such a nightmare has him confused. Was it all a dream? He speculated, looking to his shirtless toned body in hopes of finding proof. His thoughts are cut off as the sound of a door shuts. He spins to find it. From the wooden door, with several lines across its center, a child's voice echoes downstairs, and heavy footsteps quickly make their way up. Too dazed and scared to move, he watches the door, awaiting what lies before it. It cracks open to reveal a dwarven man in dirty overalls. Unlike Nordy, he is much older and has a large beard. "Finally you wake up. The kids thought you were dead, but hopefully this will reassure them." His smile is kind and his voice is calm, though gruff. His body is huge despite the short stature, his height roughly the size of half the door. His arms are like tree trunks. Below his white hair on his face are dozens of battle scars. He steps over to him, offering a calloused hand. "Can you stand?" Isamu answers his question by rising out of bed with ease. His body is a little sore and cold, but nothing he can't manage. However, as he looks to the small bed he slept in, the old dwarf hands over his green gi jacket with the golden claw on top. "You were damp when you were found. Decide to dry off your shirt at least. You must be hungry. Dinner is just about done. Follow me." Isamu follows, realizing he did wash ashore. From his words, it's safe to say he was the only one found. However, this doesn't worry him. He believes they are fine and worries first and foremost about his own situation. "Where are we exactly?" he asked. "We're in the town of Mur. You washed up ashore and one of my kids found you." Isamu takes a moment to remember that night. Everything comes back to him in one fell swoop. The monsters, the raging storm, the destruction of the ship. Things were manageable at first, but it all went wrong so fast. The realization hit him like a ton of bricks, and part of him wants to scream and blitz out the door to find someone he knows, but any hasty action will result in less answers. It's what Pimiko advised. Was there anyone else? "Afraid not, kid." He knew the answer was coming, but hearing it still sinks his heart to his stomach. "I can't stay for dinner. If it's all right, I would like to thank you and be on my way." He places an arm in front of him. "Slow down. Running a random direction will only get you killed. Eat first, and we will hear what you have to say." He tries to take a moment to calm down, putting on the remainder of his gi. It's warm and fresh like baked bread leaving the oven. Seems Grandma isn't the only one with that sentiment, he thought, wondering how he keeps a clear mind like Pimiko. They arrive in the kitchen. At the table, where a pot of delicious stew sits atop a pretty fabric that covers the surface, 5 young kids wait patiently at the clean table. Their anxious faces stare at Isamu as if he is being dragged to an execution. "Come on, young ones. It's rude to stare," he said, his voice husky. They turn back to the table in unison. "Sorry, this guy is no normal caretaker," Isamu pondered. From the way he walks, announcing his presence, his stern voice is commanding and frightening even without raising to a shout. His eyes shift often to where he is constantly on the lookout like a military scout. He belongs on a battlefield, not in a home for kids. His voice lightens back with a friendly smile. "They're good kids. They still have a lot to learn, though." "These are your kids?" "In a sense. I run a daycare in the village. so I take care of them on my own during certain times of the day. He takes a seat at one end of the table with Isamu on the other end. He goes around filling the empty bowls with a scrumptious stew full of fresh meat and vegetables, brimming with color. Once Isamu's bowl is filled, he chows down like an animal worried of losing their meal, while the kids stare at him once more. Isamu lifts his head to the dwarven man, afraid of a scolding. Must have been really hungry. Didn't need to eat so fast for years, and it wasn't until recently I started enjoying the stuff that was being served. Nowadays, meals are to be shared, not only with me and the kids, but also the goddess. Isamu comes to a full stop. His bowl is practically empty, and he wipes his dirty face with a nearby napkin. My apologies, sir. I didn't mean to interrupt your prayer. Don't be. Please continue. It puts a smile on my face to see you enjoy it so much. It's really good. It reminds me a lot of what Grandma would make. Is that so? This recipe I learned from a dear friend of mine. He was quite a cook, and I'm sure you would have loved it. Ashamed Ortega couldn't try it. He swallows quickly, and the hot broth burns his throat. The nostalgic warmth is bitter as he connects the dots. Pimiko's fighting style wasn't the only thing she passed down. Dad? He coughs. The kids turn to him, and the dwarf stops sipping the broth with haste. Hold a moment, kid. You know Ortega? Ortega is my father. Stop pulling my leg, kid. Ortega only had one girl, and if I remember her name was... He struggles to finish the sentence, only able to find the name because of Isamu. Hotaru. He pauses, leaning his elbows on the table. His face was full of questions. Who are you? My name is Isamu. I'm not related to Ortega by blood. I was brought into their family when I was a young child. I'm traveling with her along with some friends to stop Baramos. The kids clamor together. Who is Ortega? Who is Hotaru? Who's Baramos? His eyes widen, and his jaw drops. Head outside and play. From the pain in his eyes, Isamu struck a nerve. They grow silent as his scowl reveals itself. Without a word, they dart through the door, briefly letting in light from the outside. Isamu freezes in place, as if setting off a bear. The man's roughed face looks fueled with hate, but also sorrow. It's like 1,000 words are floating around in his head. Eventually, something comes out. Baramos lives? And now he sends his daughter to finish the job? What happened to you, Ortega? He looks Isamu dead in the eyes. Who put you up to this? He gulps. Grandma. The dwarven man ponders for a moment. Pimiko. She always was one who pushed us to fulfill prophecies. I knew something was familiar with the ingredients you used. It tasted like home. I may have figured out who you are as well. He manages to chuckle. Listen well, kid. I'm a nobody who fought alongside your father to stop Baramos. However, even with all our soldiers and allies that rallied with us, he was too strong. In our position and in a final desperate attempt, we only had one option. Throw him into the volcano and pray for the best. Ortega sacrificed his life to push him in. It was regrettably the only way. As it was over, we used the 6 orbs to seal the place off from the world in hopes it was enough. Yet now, it seems Pimiko wants revenge for what he did to her son. But we will win this time. Hotaru, Aziza, and Fedir have been training, and so have I. We understand the situation at hand. That's why I need to find them. He snorts. That upbeat optimism is naive, but you got guts. You may not be blood, but you have the spirit that he did. Answer me this. How is Ortega's daughter doing? Well, she turned 16 a while back, making her the youngest of us, but she is no pushover. Yet sometimes I feel like I need to watch over her. Nevertheless, I believe she will be able to handle her own. We argue sometimes and don't see everything eye to eye, but I'm proud to call her my little sister. Reminds me of how we all saw Ortega. He chuckles briefly. Now answer this. Can you come to terms that you may have to watch her die? He flinches back. unable to speak. How could you ask me a question like that? How does he expect me to answer? Again, this question haunts me. Can you handle the guilt that will cling onto you till your final moments? He mutters softly. I thought I could. But now I live my life in atonement, waiting every day for the goddess to take me. Grandma has brought it up before. He sighed. Our ultimate goal is to protect the heroes so we can bring peace back to the world. That includes throwing our lives away for the greater cause. And that is a reality I can live with. As long as she is safe, what happens to me is out of necessity. So Pimiko has changed after all these years. He takes a sip of his stew and lifts from his chair. Pimiko was always trying to find another way, but it seems she finally understands what must be done to bring peace. As long as you understand and share her belief, then I will help. Now, guessing that you know of Baramos, you understand what is needed to reach him. Yes, sir. The 6 orbs. He goes over to a large counter at the table, wrapping his hands around it. With a heavy grunt, he pulls it back, and what is revealed is a dusty iron chest. At the center is a big lock with thick chains, appearing ready to rust away to a simple touch. He pulls out a key of the same time period. You will need this, then, he said, placing the old key into the lock. It cracks open, and the chains drop to the wooden floor, emitting a heavy sound. With a loud creak, it opens, and inside the chest shines. He pulls 2 objects from the chest, a horned black helmet that is in pristine condition, and the yellow orb. He hands over both items. This helmet belonged to Ortega. Give it to Hotaru. And the yellow orb, I was told to hold for safekeeping. I don't know about the others, but each one of us was to hold one. There was another who fought alongside us by the name of Simon. He would be your best bet. He takes hold of the orb, its power pulsating, driving him to find the others. Where is he? I haven't spoken to him since our departure from Necrogon. There is a wise man on the outskirts of town who carries many documents of history. He may know. Thank you so much for your help. Hold a moment, kid. Remember, Baramos isn't a joke. His lair is crawling with monsters that belong in the depths of the underworld. I have no worries for you, but your friends need to come together and understand that. Any doubt that floats around your group, and you're as good as dead. I understand, sir, and I know they do as well. Finally, Isamu finds a lone house out on the open plains. Nothing from trees to animals are in sight. With a heavy breath, breathing in the fresh air, keeping the orb in pocket, while the helmet remains in his hands, he reaches the door. He brings his fist to the entrance, but a sudden voice stops him. It's an old and young man bickering between each other. He places his head to the door to hear the old man. So you came here to learn some information of where your father is? You think I'm some sort of psychic? The young man retaliates. Feigning ignorance won't work on me, old man. I know you play a mean act, which is why I have something in exchange. The old man gasped. My goodness. That's right. Spill the beans if you want this so badly. Here's the problem. I don't know where your father is. As I said, I'm not a psychic. However, there is a legend that might take you to him. And that is, they say that at midnight, a ghost ship sails from the estuary of Ortega to the lakeside of Romeria to pick up lost souls. If your father was worth anything, he might be there. You think this is funny, old man? You suggest I make a trade for some made-up legend? Hold a moment. I got something to help you young'uns. If my words aren't good enough. A large thud erupts inside. What am I supposed to do with this bone? Take it with you. Romeria isn't far from here. Just a little while to the west. Now that's all I got. You're just gonna have to take my word. So I shared my end of the bargain. So how about we finish this deal? Whatever. Just take this stupid thing. A slam emits from inside, and the door flies open, smacking Isamu on the head. He reels back and holds his forehead while looking down. That was pretty careless of me. And who are you supposed to be? Some assassin trying to get the jump on us? He spots the young man as he rises to his feet. The swordsman has dirty black hair and adorned shoddy iron armor, with a sword which has seen better days. I don't want trouble, Isamu responded. I just came here to see the old man to learn about a guy named Simon. The man scoffs, placing his hand on his hilt. And why would some martial artist want to know anything about my father? Father? Who is this kid? A familiar voice calls out, Isamu! From out the door she appears, and more confusion enters his mind. Aziza? She wraps her arms around him, and he struggles to move. Fedir soon steps forward with a snarky grin. This is surely an interesting way to reunite. I would think we'd have to rescue you. I'm glad you're okay, he chimed. Ah, so this is Isamu! The young man cheers, flipping an attitude like a switch. He gives up his rough and tough act for something more regal, yet his heart looks saddened. So who are you anyway? He elegantly bows. My name is Simon. My father and I share the same name. He was a legendary hero who wielded the mountain cutter. Isamu scoffs. Finally, something is going my way. I was looking for you. Your father holds another orb for us to find. We have to meet him immediately. I'm glad we share the same goal, but I'm afraid I don't know where he is. Maybe we should go to Romeria and see if this ghost ship is real. And if not, we might find Hotaru there, Fedir added. Plus, after all the crazy things we have seen so far, a ghost ship wouldn't surprise me. So Hotaru isn't with you guys? A lot has happened. I suggest, however, we explain everything so far as we travel. Sounds like a plan. Been a while since I had a good walk. Isamu looks down to Aziza, who is still holding him tightly. You can let go now. Sorry. She coughs. He takes a moment to hold his aching chest. It's painful, but oddly relieving. Let's hope we find her soon. At this point, this girl might crush her bones the longer it takes.